In many cases, fires can be quickly and safely put out with an extinguisher or fire blanket before they become a serious threat to life or property. But in any healthcare premises, the first priority must always be life safety. So before you do anything else, you must ensure that the fire alarm has been sounded, the evacuation has begun, and information has been passed onto the switchboard, call center, or fire and rescue service. Once you have done this, you can then consider whether a fire can be tackled safely. However, never tackle a fire if you have not been trained, if you are not confident that you know what you are doing, if you don't feel it is safe. Never attempt to extinguish a fire on your own. If you have never been trained to use a fire extinguisher, you may put your own life at risk or cause the fire to spread. This is because there are different types of extinguishers designed to tackle different types of fire. For example, you should never use a water extinguisher on a burning liquid fire. Here, we are going to add 1 cup of water to a hot oil fire. Imagine you were standing close enough to use a water extinguisher on the burning oil. You can see the dangers if you are not sure which extinguisher to use. If you have been trained and it is safe to do so, then tackle the fire if the alarm has been raised and the evacuation is underway. Remember, raising the alarm and then commencing the evacuation are the priorities. When tackling fires, always ensure that someone knows where you are and what you are doing. It is recommended that 2 staff tackle fires, one to operate the extinguisher and the other to watch overall safety. Never allow the fire to get between you and your exit. If the fire can spread easily and trap you, then leave. If a fire is still burning after using 1 extinguisher, then it is too big to tackle safely, so again leave, shutting doors behind you. Most extinguishers nowadays are red, with a distinguishing color panel that identifies their contents and the type of fire on which they can be used. The most common extinguishers are water, foam, dry powder, carbon dioxide, and wet chemical. Fire extinguishers use one of 2 methods to extinguish a fire. They either cool the fuel or they smother the fire, preventing it from receiving oxygen. Water extinguishers may be of jet or spray type. They are for use on solid materials like wood, cardboard, paper or cloth. Do not use water on or near electrical equipment, as there is a risk of receiving an electric shock. Water extinguishers should never be used on burning liquid fires, as we saw demonstrated earlier. Gas fires should always be left to professional firefighters, as the dangers are very high, particularly where cylinders may be involved. Like water, foam extinguishers are suitable for use on fires involving solid materials, but are most appropriate for use on flammable liquids like spirits and petrol and other burning liquids. As many foam extinguishers have a water base, they again should not be used on or near electrical equipment or hot cooking oils or fats. Carbon dioxide extinguishers work by displacing the oxygen required for fires to exist. Again, they are ideal for electrical fires, as the carbon dioxide will penetrate small grills. They are also safe to use on most other types of fire, but their use in confined spaces such as cupboards should be avoided, and their effectiveness in the open air may be limited, as carbon dioxide is easily dispersed. It is important to remember that carbon dioxide extinguishers have a trumpet-shaped horn that needs to be directed to point towards the fire. Once the trigger is squeezed, the horn and base can freeze, so they must not be touched during the operation. You should be aware that when triggered, carbon dioxide extinguishers are quite noisy. The operation of the different types of fire extinguishers is generally similar. They involve pulling a pin, aiming the hose or horn at the fire, and squeezing a trigger. The extinguisher should be held upright before the trigger is squeezed. Extinguishers should be discharged fully to minimize the risk of the fire restarting. Remember, extinguishers only have a limited duration, so if what you are doing is not having an effect, or if the fire starts to spread, then leave immediately. Taking care to ensure that risks are minimized on a daily basis can prevent an emergency ever occurring. But if a fire emergency should occur, then knowing what action to take may well save lives. The first priority is always to raise the alarm and ensure that evacuation is safely underway. Only fight the fire if you have been trained, it is safe to do so, and someone knows what you are doing. If the fire is spreading, or you are on your own, leave immediately. Never allow yourself to become trapped.